Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David King,
I'm Fred Cilbrith.
and welcome to Keeping It Real. Well, well, normally you would say that we start the show this way, but today we have Dave's Corner, and the second part of our show, well, we have Dave's guest also, I guess, in a way, in our corner.
Yeah,
First of all, I want to say thank you for coming on to our second half of our show.
we appreciate having you.
Thank you.
And Dave was talking about all different kind of art and how you got started and your whole childhood and growing up, But your family, are they into art?
Yeah, I have two daughters, and my oldest daughter graduated from Columbia College of Art in Chicago, and she's an installation artist there. And my younger daughter is going to Johnson and Wales, where she's becoming a pastry chef. So they're both very artistic.
Well, I love cake.
Yes. Okay.
Not to mention that college is very prestigious for art, and
Yeah.
New York being the mecca of
Well,
artists and all the
one
museums.
school is in Rhode Island, Providence, and the other one is in Chicago. But New York is awesome also there.
I mean, so was it like a family trade? Like, okay, you did art, so that's how your kids got started, or they just decided they liked art too, and they just wanted to do it?
Before they could crawl, before they could walk, they could crawl. I had a cabinet in the kitchen that was supposed to be pots and pans. That's where I kept all kinds of art materials for them to take out and play with. So they were highly influenced by me, and I feel art is hereditary. We have artists in my family. We have architects and interior designers and layout artists. So it's just something in the family.
So
Some family have doctors and lawyers. We have artists.
So I mean, how many hours a day would you say that you spend on your art?
I could skip days and don't paint a thing, and other days I spend the whole entire day until I realize it's time to go to bed and the sun's coming.
Like, I mean, that's awesome. Like, I'm looking at one of your paintings right here. Is that one? I guess it looks like the ocean. Is that supposed to be the ocean, or?
It depends on
Looks
which
like
one
the
you're
ocean
looking
floor.
at.
Well,
If
it's the one on
neither-
the right, the big
right.
blue one.
All right,
there.
that is actually gray. I guess it's hard to
I'm
tell.
sorry.
That's okay. But that's a tire, a bicycle tire, and I'm trying to show the motion on the. And yeah, there's water because like I'm trying to make it look wet, but the
That's
motion
cool.
of the wheel spinning, and that tire actually is a relief. It's a sculpted tire.
Nice.
Those
Oh,
are sculpted.
I like that
tables.
one. I mean, I like the one on the far right. Is that supposed to be the Eiffel Tower?
That is the Eiffel Tower.
is the Eiffel
yeah.
Tower.
The one place where I want to go after I
That
get my
is
master's.
So would love to
Yeah,
go.
now,
Yeah.
for all your creativity,
Uh-huh.
do you have a way to be inspired, or you just kind of it just comes to you and then that's
Where
what
does
I'm
it
doing?
come from?
Or do you need to be like outside and kind of?
I'm inspired by so many things. I'm inspired by my students and how they approach their work. I'm inspired by other artists, by the master artists. I'm just inspired by a need to, like, I'll close my eyes and see something and I have to go home and paint it. I have
Who's
a
your
good,
favorite artist?
My favorite artist, I would have to say, is Henri Matisse.
Is he French?
Yeah, it's a Fauvist, so he was very with bright colors, and then Picasso because so
yes.
childlike, and because I work with children, my work is very childlike. I'm inspired by them.
What about Vincent van Gogh and Monet?
I love.
I'm gonna stay with Picasso. I'm gonna stay with Picasso. I mean that I go with that one when it comes to I'd go with that one. So I'm staying with that one.
I do love Van Gogh and Monet. I mean,
But I am a big like my favorite art. I'm a big fan of any water art. I'm a Pisces.
I'm a Pisces.
So I'm a water sign.
Yeah.
So I love the water. I love sitting by the water. I love being in the water. So I love water paintings. It's just so peaceful and it's just so irrelevant to
Yeah,
me.
I do a lot.
I'm a tourist, and I've looked up my sign multiple times. It says they're creative and stubborn. That's our lot in life is that we're stubborn. So, but we're also creative, passionate, loving, caring people.
So I mean, tell us a little about your what is it? Your art gallery that you have, or
Well, I show in a couple of galleries. I show at, when you're seeing pictures of my tent there, I show at art shows, Meet the Artists and Artisans, run by Denise Morris Kurt. I show a gallery in West Hartford called Center Framing that I'll paint outside in front of there and have some paintings inside there. And as for painting. I kicked my husband out of his office and turned that into my studio. He set up a beautiful studio for me in our basement, and I didn't have windows, and it was too close to the laundry, so I took over.
Oh, that's beautiful.
His office space. Cool. Thank you.
That's beautiful right there. Who is she supposed to be? Is that supposed to be you?
No, but I wish.
I mean, she's very beautiful, but I was like, is she supposed to be like you?
No, she's from my imagination. I was telling Dave earlier, I was at a Santana concert, and Santana was wearing a red T-shirt with an angel on it, and I just had to go home and paint an angel on a red background. So that's
and
where
your
she
gallery
came from.
is called Eclectic Hen?
It's called Eclectic Hen.
Why is that?
My oldest daughter, Alexandra, she said, Mom, everything you do is eclectic. You know, not one painting is the same as the next one. Everything's very different. And I paint a lot of hens, and I'm like kind of like the mother hen. And even my seat that I sit at during shows, I painted a nest with 2 eggs on it that represent my daughters. And my nest is empty now, but I won't empty
You ever
it.
paint any whales, any sharks or dolphins like that?
Just those weird fish with the big teeth. But yeah, I've painted some, I want to say a really big blue octopus that's been in a couple of paintings, yeah. And that's me painting at
When you
Meat
say you
Yards.
do all different kind of paintings, do you do religious paintings? Do you do, I don't know, I mean, history paintings?
No,
Like Greek kind of paintings and stuff like that?
not
Thumbs
really.
down.
I do a lot of happy things. I just like to keep things bright and colorful and happy.
Do you ever do abstract?
Yeah, it's nothing I do is quite realistic, so you could call it abstract.
I mean, but that's good. I mean, you know,
But-
the imagination is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
And your imagination can not only take you anywhere you want to go
Right.
in the universe, but it could be anything you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
You can be anything you want to be in your imagination. There is no, you can't
Limits.
have this or limit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no limits in your imagination of what you can and cannot do.
You could
Or
also
be.
live in a certain time in your imagination as well.
Right.
Oh, definitely. Or you can take a part of that time and your imagination and put it into this time and make it come together, kind of thing. You know, a lot. Art has a lot to do with a lot of stuff, like movies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That takes a vision.
That's
That's
an
an
art
art.
form.
That's an
Yeah.
art without painting. You know,
Right.
that's to take a movie from that time and bring it into this time, or similar to Captain America, the first movie, how it takes place back then. Then he wakes up and it's today. You know,
Right,
so
right,
they kind of
right.
took 1940 and brought it into 2000 in the Millennium Era. That's the whole point. I like art because I like all different colors.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like I said, I'm a water sign, so I like a lot of water. I like water paint.
Mhm.
I like watercolors.
Mhm.
The ocean blue, the gray, I'm a big animal lover, so yeah, that's why I ask. I like the whales. And matter of fact, last night I was just watching something on the killer whale. Anyway, well, no, they are the most dominant water creature in the sea.
Yeah, he
but,
likes a lot of documentaries, folks.
but that's just
I
the
was watching
that's just the
Walt
but
Disney last night.
it's the whole beauty of just how it just comes together and and it's very peaceful.
Yeah.
Art's very peaceful.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
going through a hard time, you can express your feelings in art, that you may not be able to express to your friends, husband, wife,
Right.
or whatever, but you can express that on the canvas. And nobody's going to judge you, and that's the beauty with art. There's no judging. It's like whatever.
It's all creative.
Right.
It's
Whatever
all
you
your
feel
creative
is right,
mindset.
that's how
That's
it's going
what
to
I
go.
tell my students because I have to grade them, and I tell them that your math teacher says 1 and 1 is always 2, but I can't grade your finished artwork. You don't leave here and then I give you a grade. As long as you're trying your best, that's
Right.
that's how you're going to do well. There's no right or wrong in art. You just-
There's an old
there's no
saying,
mistakes.
beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Right.
Same thing for art, It's in the eyes of the beholder because the person doing it, you see what I don't see. And I see what you don't see when it comes to art. That's the beauty of art.
Right.
We see
You
things
can
in a
also
different
get
light.
creative with words and write and all that. kind of
Oh,
thing, too.
definitely. I mean, let's not go there. I mean, music is very creative. Art plays a big part of the universe in general. Of what this looks like or what that looks like. Even if you don't really even know what it looks like, in your own head, this is what it looks like, and there's a lot of painters that made this and say this is what this looks like.
And what I like about art is that everybody can look at a different painting and take something different from it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can get inspired by your art and, like, say, I can write a poem.
Definitely. Now, back here, is that a swimming pool that you painted, or is that just...
Those are my paintings attached to, like, a wooden corral.
Okay, it looked like a swimming pool, but I don't think that was cool.
So when
Where's the kid
when I'm
jumping in the
doing a
lake?
show in Mystic, they let me have that little wooden corral, and I attach, because I have
Nice.
paintings, so we
Like,
put 'em on
especially the dark one over there on the side. It's awesome.
that with the moon.
Yes.
I call that one Moon Keys, because there's keys and there's a moon, so I kind of played on the words moon.
Now,
and
does that all
keys.
have all different planets and stuff, or just the moon?
Just the moon and some keys, so, and it has like a little maze, so maybe in some way you're gotta unlock your
So,
place in the moon.
with all the paintings you have, do you have a favorite?
Do I have a favorite?
Can you even pick a favorite is the question.
I have one favorite that I don't bring to shows, that I painted of my daughters, that I keep in my studio, but the rest I can let go. They're my, I create and I let them go.
Oh, look, see, you got the one with the fish and
There's
everything.
the
I
fish.
see the ones with all the different fish. Of course, one of my favorites. I see, is that American flag on the bottom?
Yeah, that is a beach scene, but I made the floor look like the American flag. I stick the American flag in a lot of different places for fun. I like.
Have you ever auctioned off your paintings and
I
bought
sell the paintings. Quite a few that you're showing are already gone. Actually, I had a great summer. I don't know. So,
Oh, look at that one. See, there go the
yeah, that one's
the
called
hen.
chicken salad.
How do you feel when that happens? Like, do you feel like you're letting go of a favorite painting or a person?
It's
or a
exciting
creative
because it's like
character or
it's validating to know that somebody wants to hang my work in their home. Like the very first painting I sold, and I had to put up on my blog that I sold a painting, and I wrote, "This is so strange. I have a painting in somebody's house. This is the weirdest thing." And now it's still 10 years later, just as exciting and strange and an honor that somebody wants to buy my paintings. It's a big thrill.
Have
Yeah.
you ever met anybody that has the same mindset as you and get like how I get excited off? They can connect with you in that
That's
same
who buys
way?
my paintings. People who are excited and find it. They like the whimsy of them and the non-normalcy of them. So
Have
they kind of need to have my mindset to have my paintings.
Have you ever collaborated with other painters?
No, but I've painted with other painters, but we haven't painted on the same. But we've been outside galleries painting together, but not necessarily on the same painting.
Nice. I mean, now, and you teach kindergarten. You said
Through 5th grade.
you
All
teach
of them.
kindergarten through 5th grade.
Right.
Now, I mean, do you enjoy it?
I would, year 28, 29, I'd have to still enjoy it to be doing it. I love it. I love every year. It's a new, exciting experience. Every year I have a different theme for my classroom. This year it's a garden theme, and we're growing as artists this year. And
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, and on top of that, kids see things, like we were just saying about art, they see things in a different light.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They see you as like a famous painter, even though, but they enjoy that.
Yeah.
And they appreciate you. I remember when I was a kid and I was in art class. That was one of my funnest, classes. Was art class, because being in a wheelchair, you couldn't run around in gym class. But in art class, you just gotta sit there and draw. And nobody was different. Everybody was the same.
Yeah.
And that's art class was one of my favorites because of that.
I mean, I have to say that two of my favorite classes, one of them was art, because I did a bunch of cartoons back when I was in high school. And the second one has always been English class, writing class, because you're able to create the same way you do with art.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to tap into that creative mindset and go there, and no one can stop you.
Yeah, that's how I explain to my students that an author makes up a story. It's from their imagination, that a work of art doesn't have to look, because sometimes they worry about it looking real, and it has to look so real. I'm like, no, you get to make it up. You're the artist. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Exactly. Just
So
like
It's
you
your
said,
creation.
It's
it's
your
your creation, and
creation,
it's
yeah.
in your head, and
Right.
whatever you feel that it is, that's what it is. The
Mhm.
question is, what do you want it to be? But only you know what you want it to be. I
Right.
mean, nobody can say, oh, it should be this. I mean, you can, but then I don't feel that it would come from you.
Ultimately, it's up to you to how you want to mold your craft, or how you want to paint the painting, or write the story, or all that.
Right. You know, but we're coming to the end on tonight's show. I mean, is there any final words or any advice you want to give anybody that's getting into art or like art?
Well, what I say to my students is there's no right or wrong. There are no mistakes. When they ask me if I like it, and then my husband says this when I ask him about my paintings, I ask them, do you like it? That's what's important, if they're happy with it. So if you're happy doing something, then do it. And if what you're making makes you happy, then great.
Exactly. And Fred?
I'd second her opinion.
There we go.
And I've never done that on this show, but I second that.
Thank you. What an honor.
For me, I would just say use art as a creative way to express yourself, and don't worry about what nobody thinks, because there is, like they said, there's no right or wrong in your own art. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder in everything that you do, you know, in general, in life, and art, anything, you know, beauty in the eyes of the beholder. But with that said, we're going to wrap up here. I'm David King.
I'm Fred Silver.
Thank you for watching, and Dave's Corner as well. Thank you, Dave, and have a good night, guys.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to Keeping It Real. My name's Dave Ryan, and my guest here is Ronet. She's a local artist that we are very fortunate enough to have on the show tonight. And Ronet, I just want to know basically, how you got started and how did your interest get started in the art field?
Well, I've been teaching art for over 28 years.
Right.
I have two daughters who, as they were growing older and my nest became empty, I started to paint a little bit more and more.
Right.
And I've always been interested in art and teaching art and creating it, but never did anything as an artist except being the art teacher. And I have a acquaintance who asked me, what do you do with your art? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't do anything. I just keep it, hang it up in the house, put it in a room. You should show your art. And three very influential women, Lori Chozik, who owns, am I allowed to say?
Okay, it's all right.
Who runs a gallery in West Hartford, Center Framing,
Okay.
asked to see my art and started showing that a few years ago and selling there.
Yeah.
And then while I was painting outside the gallery, another artist, Carrie Jacobson, said, do you ever paint outside at shows? Do you ever do these shows with tents and things like that? And no, I've never done that either. I'm an art teacher. So she introduced me to doing shows, and so now I do Meet the Artists and Artisans with Denise Morris Kurt and Mystic, and sell in a couple of galleries in Connecticut.
Well, it's a great contribution to the communities to help the community become more aware and learn more about arts. That's what we don't take enough time out to check and look at people's artwork or learn about people's artwork. And it's kind of a shame, but thanks to people like you, you're getting it put out there so that people become more educated in art and be more inspired by art. That's what we need. We need to take the time out to learn more about art.
Yeah, I tell my students in the beginning of the school year, when they're trying to understand the importance of having an art class, we'd all be living in caves if it wasn't for artists, that they get up in the morning and the clothes that they put on, well, an artist designed that, a fashion artist, the way they got to school on a bus or a car. Well, an engineer is an artist, he designed that. The landscape artist, the sidewalk you walked in.
That's right.
So it affects you from the cereal bowl that you're putting your box of cereal in. An artist designed that.
Sure.
So it lets them become more aware of that they're affected by it every single day, by the second they wake up.
That's interesting. It's something to think about.
Yeah.
And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to describe some of the fine pictures that we have of your art and just briefly describe them for the folks at home so they can see.
All right. Well, a lot of my work is a mixed media. I sculpt first, like with paper mache. So the tire that you're seeing there is sculpted. It's kind of a high relief, and I'm showing the motion in the tire there, in that picture.
Okay.
Those are donuts, and
Yes.
those are sculpted donuts that I sculpt with paper and then put it onto to the canvas. I have to do some new donuts because all my donuts are gone now. Everyone asks me when they see that picture, how come you didn't make a dozen? I guess I ate 3 of them. I don't know. I don't even really like donuts.
It's three-dimensional art?
It's 3-dimensional. It's high
Okay.
relief. You call it, yeah.
Okay.
That I call chicken salad.
Oh,
And
okay.
I have a series of 2 of those, and one is actually in a restaurant in Manhattan.
Wow.
And one was just recently purchased by a very nice couple. That one was, but I
Okay.
call it chicken salad. I'm a little whimsical and funny with what I do. Nothing's
That's
quite
good.
realistic. I only paint when I'm happy. I have a lot of paintings, so
good.
I'm happy a lot. And my
Great.
students influence me. Many artists influence me.
This one is from the Walnut Beach
Yep.
gallery there, the
Mhm.
Wild Expressions.
Yeah. And that is at Meet the Artists and Artisans, where I get to wrap more of my paintings around a little corral there,
Okay.
and next to my tent. There's I like
fish.
doing the fish, and I like patriotic themes. I'm influenced a lot by Matisse and his colors, and doing bright Fauvus work. Just having fun and making it whimsical. And of course, living in Milford, I like doing beaches. I mean,
Right.
spending time at the beach. So that's looking out a window
Right.
at the beach.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And the window is sculpted. And when I'm at shows, you can see I have my paints there and my easel. I paint while I'm at the shows. Where we met, I was painting in front of.
The Wild
And,
Expressions.
yeah,
And then there's
and
a
there I
nice
am.
picture of you in there in front
There
of
we
your
go.
window and your other window.
Right.
And that is Walnut Beach. And, oh, yeah.
This painting was inspired when I went to see a Santana concert, and he was
Did-
wearing.
I like this one a
t-shirt-
lot.
Yeah, he was wearing a red T-shirt with an angel on it, and I just had to go home and. That's usually when I paint. When I have to paint something, it's because I have to. I just
Yeah.
have to go paint something. I need to paint that.
That's
And when I
wonderful.
saw Santana and with the angel on it, and that's me painting in front of center framing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay. Here we are at Walnut Beach.
Walnut Beach.
Does this look familiar?
I was there today.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Is this this is also one of the fish too.
Mhm.
So basically,
That one's inspired by Matisse. It's a sculpted
Okay.
little table, and the little painting hanging up in the background is
Oh, okay.
inspired by Matisse. No, I just did.
well, that's really a fine collection of artwork. That's for sure. What's interesting I like about it is that it's 3-dimensional. You can
Yeah.
actually touch it.
Yeah,
you know,
and people are always very tempted to. Yeah, I
I'm
know.
sure they break a piece off
Yeah.
or something like that.
Hasn't happened yet.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's because it's probably so durable.
I hope
But
so.
you know, I like the donuts a lot.
Yeah,
That-
the
that's-
donuts get a lot of
that's really good.
interest. Yeah.
Yeah. So how large of an how large of a class do you teach?
I teach kindergarten through 5th grade.
Wow.
I
okay.
see about 6 classes a day, and can I say the name of the school?
Yeah.
Okay, at Newfield Elementary School,
Oh, that's nice. That's
and
okay.
I see about 24 kids in a class, so I get a lot of
Wow.
students, and they're
Yep.
great kids. I have been the mentor to one of my students who is now an art teacher. As
Okay.
as she became a teacher, I mentored her because I'm in the BEST program where I mentor
Oh, that's
teachers
good.
coming up, so
Yeah.
that's fun
Yeah.
to have been her art teacher and then to see her be an art teacher.
Well, that's got to be a real accomplishment.
It's nice watching the kids come back when they're grown up, and one student brought his children to meet me and say, "This is my favorite teacher," and I'm
Wow.
like, "Thank you for showing me you're so old and have kids." But,
Wow.
it's cool to see
That's
them
really
come
amazing.
back.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But no, I've taken art classes in school, but I've never really done too much with them. I've taken drafting, you know, things like that. But basically, you know, I can appreciate art because I hung out with students that were into it a lot. We were, we did different things in high school, and that's the last time I was in any kind of a class. But I like looking at it, and it's so many different flavors of art out there,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah, it's very different. When I'm in an art show and there's all different artists there, all different styles, it's fun to see who responds to what artists, and I can know who's going to come over to my tent, who's going to walk over to somebody else's, and I'm okay with that. I get it. Who, like, people have different styles, and
there's so many out there. And that's the thing, there's so many different patterns and different styles, and the trouble is when we drive by the local green, we say, oh, there's a bunch of artists, we think it's all the same thing, but
no, very
it's not. Everybody has something different. Actually, what I'm starting to get partial to is the arts and crafts end of things. I want to make things with wire, colored wire, because I used to work in electronics, and I have a lot of electronic stuff at home, and I'm trying to put together stuff with that. But I'm just in my spare time, just do a little bit here and a little bit there, and that's about it.
It starts, and then it just kind of builds. So keep doing that.
So what else can you tell us there? The
I don't know what.
Okay, well, the thing of it, there's many ways to get started in art when you teach it and things like that. So basically, what you got to do is just go. A lot of it's on the internet now. There's internet sites to help learn about art. Any that you could think of? There's a lot of apps that you can put on your phone too.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are, but I've seen a few
I
of them.
don't do too many. I'm not big on technology. I have a blog for my students where they visit and a few things like that.
Okay, great. Super.
Yeah.
But anyway, other than that though, I drew a design on a t-shirt and had it copywritten.
There you go.
But I'm not going to get into that too much.
Copyright is a whole big situation with artists. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, that's how that works. I was just playing around with it. It was done. It was a mouse. Something to do with a mouse. So basically, that's what I did. That's the most recent thing I've done so far. But to make a long story short, it's I had a lot of fun doing it.
That's when I paint. It's to have fun and be happy and find your
just pick
place.
up a brush or a pencil and just.
I go right to the brush. I skip the pencil and right to the brush. I like to paint with the.
Oh, okay, that's great.
The concept with, I mean, it's paint, and when you make a mistake, you can paint over it. So it's
like
okay.
It's like the tattoos that people get. They do that. They paint over the wrong tattoo or whatever, and that's it. Yeah. So that's basically what I would think of.
Okay. Are we done?
Yeah. So.
I have no idea what his signals mean. Are we done?